Morning everybody, and welcome back to the channel on this lovely morning. It's 4:45 now, and for anybody who's not new to this site, you'll know that recently I hit the 100 subscriber milestone, and quite frankly I'm very surprised and somewhat amazed by reaching that milestone. I mean, I don't even know 100 people. It's a little bit mind-boggling, this whole social media thing. It's been a revelation to me. So yeah, big thank you to everybody who's watched any of the videos. I really do appreciate it. And for anybody who watched my last video, the Coffee with a View one, you may have been surprised to see that the blue B75 Brompton that I'd used on many other videos had gone and had been replaced by a black 6-speed number. So you might be thinking to yourself, why? He's made all these videos about how he likes this B75. Has he got another one, and is he rotating these Bromptons like many people collect them? I'm not a collector. More about that in a bit. But yeah, today I'm out on the 6-speed black M6, and I'll be telling you more about how I feel about this a little bit later in the film. And no doubt you're waiting with bated breath to see if I like it. And how did I acquire it, you may ask yourself. And what's happened to the Moulton? Is that still in the stable? Well, you'll have to wait. Be patient. So we're riding towards the sunrise now. Yeah, the Cleveland Way, which I did solitary and allowed for a lot of thinking time. There was only one day when I walked with anybody else, which was really enjoyable, but that's one of the things about being outside. If you're on your own, you know, you get to weigh things up and mull things over. What I'm trying to say is I had a bit of an epiphany, and when I got back home I decided over the course of that week that I was going to get rid of anything that I'd got multiples of, like 2 or 3 tents, 8 stoves, God knows how many pairs of boots, you know, that kind of thing. I just decided I wanted to get rid of all this excess stuff, and I felt brilliant about it. And this included the Moulton and the Brompton B75. You know, if we're brutally honest with ourselves, do we really need a road bike, a mountain bike, a gravel bike, a dry weather bike, a wet weather bike? You know what I mean? No, we don't. And I wanted to simplify things, so I decided that coming out the other end of all this, I would have one road bike and one mountain bike, and that is it. And if I was going to only have one road bike, it had to be the most versatile. So that meant another Brompton, a 6-speed Brompton. And the logical place to look was the bike shed. So yes, I looked at the Moulton, absolutely love that bike. Still, hands down, the best bike I've ever owned. Better than any of the carbon fibre nonsense, better than any of the titanium stuff that I've owned. It's all shit compared to the Moulton in my view, and I don't understand why it's such a rare commodity on the roads of Britain. We just don't seem to value things that look different. We all want, or seem to want, what the marketing men tell us we want. Like they know best. They probably don't even ride bikes, most of them. And yeah, they might be fast. You might, you know, not win a Tour de France on a Moulton TSR 30. but I think you'd have a hell of a lot more fun on one than the bone shakers that they do ride. And anyway, that's another story. So, could I bear to part with my favourite bike? And the answer sort of came on the back of me saying to myself, look, road bikes, you can only have one of them. You've currently got two. They both are a bit similar. One's got 3 gears, one's got 30. One you can take on trains, one you have a lot of fun on. But hang on a minute, you have a lot of fun on the 3-speed Brompton, don't you? I've been all over the place on that. I love that bike. And there's not that massive a difference in the pleasure I get from owning the blue Brompton, the B75, than I did the Moulton. So if it came down to it and I could only keep one bike, I said to myself, which one would it be? And I said, neither. What it would have to be is a 6-speed Brompton, because I've got all the benefits of the 3-speed plus a wider range of gears. I can still take it on trains and buses. I can still do all the bike packing things I want to do in it, probably even better. And you know, from that side of it, it is fairly comparable to the Moulton, its load carrying abilities. And so I decided that, rather bizarrely, they both had to go. So onto the old eBay went the B75, quickly sold, more or less for what I paid for it. And I advertised the Moulton at the same time, and full circle, back to this community of 100 people, who I don't know, most of you, but through this community on YouTube, one of the people who watched my videos, a fellow YouTuber by the name of Julian Hutchings, who many of you will be familiar with because he's got a lot more subscribers, and rightly so, than I do. He reached out and he said, look, in your advert, Stu, you'd said you would consider swapping your bike for a suitable 6-speed Brompton. I've just purchased a 6-speed Brompton, but I've also just been down to the Moulton factory and had a test ride on 2 different models, and I absolutely love them. So I am interested in doing you a swap, rather like Noel Edmonds used to do on the Multicoloured Swap Shop back in the day. So Julian was either Noel Edmonds or, rest in peace, Keith Chegwin, because he was responsible for engineering this trade that we did. And personally, I can't speak for Julian, but personally, you know, not chasing down the filthy lucre, as John Lydon would say, possibly, felt even better to do a trade with no money changing hands, and both of us to be more than happy about it. I thought that was brilliant, and I got to meet a thoroughly nice bloke in the process. So thanks very much to you, Julian, for reaching out and agreeing to the swap. Think of the 6-speed Brompton. Well, the engineering of all the Bromptons, it's impeccable. When you look at the quality of construction, it certainly brings a pride in British manufacturing, because the quality of the frame is first rate, on a par with anything that I've owned before, and that's equal of any of the Bromptons really. I mean, the frames, the steel frames, much in the tradition of the old British bike builders, that every town had one. The best ones were brazed, fillet brazed, and that's the case with Bromptons. So the mechanical properties of the tubes that they use is not degraded by welding at high temperatures, altering the performance of the steel. Brazing is carried out at a lower temperature, and it's very skillful, and the quality of the brazing on all the joints on this frame is impeccable. So this is a hill climb for today, my Alpe d'Huez, in Lincolnshire. Can we do it? Yes, we can, I think is the answer. Yep, that was the Brompton's climbing test passed. I tried to get up that hill previously on the B75, no chance. It was Shanks's pony. So yeah, big positive. It climbed well. That looks lovely, don't you think? And over to this side. Oh, very lovely. That's the Caldera keg stove. Carrying block is that with it being mounted here on the head tube of the bike, unlike most touring bikes where the pannier is attached to the front fork and adversely affect the handling, this doesn't do that. It's not attached to the front axle, it's not attached to the handlebars, doesn't adversely affect handling. In fact, it improves the handling. So up to 10 kilos, and it makes it more stable, more predictable. Commuters will be carrying a laptop, lunch, maybe some extra clothes, a thermos maybe of coffee, and you know you can do all that safe in the knowledge that it's impossible for stuff to fall off. It's attached and it's improving the handling of your bike. It's another aspect of the Brompton's genius, in my opinion. So, in summary, handles well, it's comfortable, 6 gears are perfect for me. With the ergon grips, my hands are comfortable, I've got multiple positions to hang on to the bars. I like the small wheels and how they feel, its nippiness. I now know that it's got a decent climbing ability, can carry loads. It's equally as versatile as the B75 I had before. Braking's good. Frame's beautifully made. You could argue that maybe it's a bit heavy at £28. If you're used to carbon fibre racing bikes, that's probably quite heavy. But for a robust commuter bike, it'd be quite hard to find anything with mudguards, a rack, internal gears for anything close to £30, something like an old Doors Galaxy or whatever. I think £28 is pretty good in that class. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. That's another one where I'm going to call it a wrap, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers now.